Alright, I put together 5 budget small block Chevys over the winter that all have Vortec heads. The first one I'll be testing is in the car. It's the Blueprint cam and intake Vortec engine. Then I'll have the Vortec 350 with the CC 306 comp cam. And then I got a 355 with flat top pistons with Vortec heads that I plan on making some good torque with it in the truck. And then I got a 7,000 RPM Vortec headed engine. And then I also have a 408 small block with Vortec heads that I plan on running last. The plan is to go faster with each build. And let's go over the current engine in the car. Alright, let's do a quick rundown on this engine. It's basically a stock L31 Vortec 350 with a cam and intake from a Blueprint Engines 390 horse 355. The cam specs are 220 degrees of intake duration at 50,000 lift and 224 degrees of exhaust duration at 50,000 lift on a 114 lobe separation, 495 lift intake, 502 exhaust. I also added a set of K-Motion 700 spring valve springs. I had to take 50 thousandths off the bottom of the retainers for the retainer to valve seal clearance. I do not recommend doing this. It's kind of a budget build. Let's see how it goes. Alright, stock 350 Vortec with the Blueprint engines cam and intake ran pretty good, running a best of 787 at 87 miles an hour in the 8th and 1246 at 104. I let off a little early in the quarter. What I'd like to do is get a little more power out of this engine. So let's do a comparison of a motor that I got that ran a little better, that is just slightly different. Alright, this engine here had 20 to 30 more horsepower than the engine in the car. This is a stock Gen 1 short block. It's got the 13cc dish pistons. It's got a comp cam's 292H camshaft in it. It's Vortec heads, pretty much stock. Maybe a little bit of bowl cleanup on the cylinder heads. Ran a best of a 764 in the 8th and a 12.0 in the quarter. This engine in the car is a stock L31 Vortec 350 with Blueprint engines, cam and intake. It's got the better ring package. It shares a ring package with a 6-liter LS. It's a 1.5 millimeter ring package with a 3 millimeter oil ring. As this one has a 5/64 for the rings and a 3/16 oil ring. The motor in the car being stock has a 28 thousandths composite head gasket, where this one has a Fel-Pro 1094 15 thousandths head gasket. So the slight compression advantage goes to this. The camshaft differences could account for a good amount of the power differences in the two. This one being 244 degrees of duration at 50 thousandths left on both sides and 501 left, and this one is 220 and 224 degrees of duration at 50 thousandths left and 495 502 left on a 114 lobe separation. What I'm thinking is the heads on this have the pressed in exhaust inserts and one angle valve job on the exhaust side. What I'd like to do is take the heads off and clean that up and put a camshaft in with a little more overlap and have more duration intake and exhaust, and have a earlier intake center line on the camshaft. So that's where we're at, and so I'm going to take this one apart and I'm going to try to pick up 3 or 4 tenths in the 1/8 mile on this motor. So I'm going to do some work to it and let's find out.